I will make it up in the next one. I will take 1 more hour. Okay, so that way it goes. So the recording is on. Let me share the screen. You will let me know if you are being able to see my screen. Are you being able to see the screen?
Yes.
Yes, audible.
Okay. So, okay. Now, let us start with DevOps to understand, because just now you have learned that uh, to go to your DevSecOps, which is the security aspect of DevOps, okay, where you combine DevOps, the DevOps implemented company you have been recruited with, and then you have to provide the security of all the resources and assets or the infrastructure that has been built up into that company. So unless and until you have a great idea on DevOps, a very good idea, because DevOps is already getting a maturity level. So many companies, almost 60% of the companies have implemented DevOps. Maybe not to a very mature level, but at least they have started with implementing DevOps, the automation pipelines and all the stuff. So we need to have a great idea. Like earlier, we used to know that, okay, if you have to do something, you have to be a developer. If you have to step into IT world, you have to be at least knowing Java, or you have to at least know Python. Nowadays, they say that if you want to step into IT from a different domain, you start with DevOps, then scale your knowledge up. So you have taken a decision to start with the internship program, and then you will develop your career ahead, isn't it? So let me also do the same thing, try to help you. So whenever we discuss about DevOps, you will see this, the lateral 8, something the 8 is sleeping. Okay. But this also gives a feeling of a cohesive workforce, isn't it? You see, everyone is shaking hands with the each and everyone. So all the cross-functional people have joined hands, and they are delivering something of meaningful, of business value. Okay. But each and every phase is linked up with each other. So we start, this is called a DevOps life cycle. DevOps is on the left hand side, you have the this is where you have the development, and here is the operations. I hope you can hear me. Maybe the network is not that great at my end. So whenever I will be not heard properly or the screen is not seen properly, you please let me know. Okay. So these two domains, these are the two distinct domains of any IT software house. Okay. So it appears to be far apart, and it used to be very, very distinct. They were at these points. There was no link between these two paths. So what happened was that there were lots of issues. Your project, your project does not wait for your, I mean, whatever the infrastructure that you have within your company, the project will not wait. The project has a finite boundary. A software development project has a starting point and an ending point. So a project must start on a particular date and should end. There is a schedule, there is a plan. There is a plan to complete the project. If you go beyond this plan, then there is a penalty. The customer will penalize. Penalize whom? The vendor. And where are you working? Are you working on the customer side or on the vendor side? Let's say, for an example, you generally would be working on the vendor side. You are going to deliver uh, some software, some solution to the customer pain points, isn't it? Customer will come to you, come to the vendor. Why? Because they must be having some issues, business related issues, Those needs to be. So what I was talking about, that the project will start on a particular date, end on a particular date. Any single day that you have lost, or it is one, say it's a 1 year project. If it is a 1 year, 1 day, the 1 day penalty will be on the vendor. So you will generally try to put it on the 11th month or on the 12th month, but not 12 months and 15 days or 1 day more, because there is a penalty clause. There is a SLA, service level agreement, service level. So many, there are SLIs, SLOs, SLAs. So you have to abide by this guidelines. So what these two guys, development guy and the operations guy, they cannot afford to be what? Fighting with each other. Generally they will start fighting with each other because the development guys think that they know everything, they know each and everything, whereas the operations guy will not allow any junk coming into their system, because they are the masters, or they are the backbone of any company, any software, or any projectized organization. These organizations are projectized because they work through projects. So the operations guy are the main guys. Okay, they are the backbone. Why they are the backbone? Can anybody tell me? Why are they backbone of a company? Why the development guys are not the backbone? Why the testing guys are not the backbone? Any
Because
idea?
Is it because that they own the product?
Yes, you are right. Can you elaborate on your answer?
So, not too really technical, but I think that, so let's say that the developer section, the developers are looking to implement a seamless process of, an integration. Let's say, the operations guys have a bunch of Excel spreadsheet that they are looking to automate. Now, because they own those kind of product, they would make sure that the developer section would think that we have the best ways to handle the automation process. And little to the knowing that those who owns the product, the operations guys would have to conform to the standards of what the terms and conditions that the developers are also seeking. So it's going to be a little bit of a back and forth.
Exactly. Because the operations guy, what they are not complicated guys. They know one thing, that I will not allow any garbage into my production system. So let's say this is the production system, and this production system is the bread and butter of the vendor company, because this customer, all the customer users, the users of the customer will be working or will be accessing this production system. Okay, now if any issues or any defects come on this, or if something happens on this production system, who are the customers going to catch? These guys are from the vendor. Okay, customer has the users are working on the production system, where the project has delivered a product on a production system. Okay, this is a production system. Now this production system will be the headache of the operations team. They will be monitoring, they will be operating, they will be operating and monitoring. These two are important functions of operations guy. That's why they occupy 90% of the right hand side of the lobe. Okay, so the operations guy are going to deploy onto the production. They are going to help to operate, that is on these things, and continuously monitor. And whatever happens, the feedback will go to the project team, the left hand side. So because they are the owners of the system, they are the owners, straight away owners. And like you own something, would you like someone disturbing it? They development guys always keep on putting something or the other because they think that they are doing a great job. Or whereas operations will always resist a change. See, if something is working very fine, what is the human tendency? The human nature says that I will not disturb this working environment. This is working fine, working fine. So why should I disturb it? So operations do not entertain any changes, or rather they will resist any changes. Whereas development team or the thing, they want to experiment and they want to put in more and more of their new ideas and new innovations that they always they are very creative people. They do not want to have a status quo, isn't it? They want to progress. Whereas operations have nothing to do with the progress. They have a strict mandate that they cannot allow any garbage coming inside which can disturb this one, which can disturb the production. So naturally, operations will always try to resist. So this resistance can be sometimes taken too far. And that happens when there will be a firefighting, isn't it? Because the developers have a certain ego. They are quite talented, they are experienced, and they do lots of innovations. So they have a natural ego and they look down upon the operations guy. Operations guy is also consisting of the testing guys. So they work together. Operations have a division called quality assurance. Okay, quality assurance, and testing is part of the quality assurance. So they will ensure the quality of the software that is delivered. So my basic thing of discussion was that these two are separate teams and they are most of the time loggerheads with each other. They are loggerheads with each other. That means they do not see eye to eye. But then but then you will have to deliver within the scheduled plan. So what is the way out? Let's see. Can I proceed? So as we have already said that it is a SDLC, so software development life cycle. Okay, any software will be through a life cycle, and we say that that is an SDLC. You know all these things. I am not going to repeat that. So, and a software development life cycle will be having these stages: planning, defining, designing, building, testing, deployment, again planning, defining, designing, because this is an iterative on and on and on till you deliver the best of the software, best of the product. Okay. Any questions? So in this, you have two models. As I was working with IBM for as a project manager for the last couple of years, 5 years. So I at that time it was it was during 2016 to 2020. Okay, but that time DevOps was just very new. IBM was introducing DevOps into their project lifecycle. Okay, but DevOps tools were not very matured, and nobody knew how to implement DevOps tools. That was, I was talking about 2016, 2017, when DevOps was just coming to the market with the introduction of, you know, your Ansible, Terraform, and of course the cloud was also flourishing, like AWS, Azure, and GCP. Now, at that time, the project managers had only one model called waterfall model. The model through which there is a framework through which a project can be delivered was called waterfall model. And afterwards came the agile model. So there was a lot of, you know, innovation and requirement. The need was to go for an agile. By the name itself, you can understand that it's a faster model. You can deliver it fast. Like you have in courts, in judiciary, you have a case can be procrastinated, can be stretched and stretched and stretched. It can go for 5 years. Even after 5 years, the case is not resolved. Whereas you introduce fast courts. So you introduce fast courts. For delivering justice fast. To deliver justice fast. This is a traditional court. I'm just drawing up a comparison. This will deliver a justice, but it will take a long time. Long time in delivering a justice. And maybe after that, the judgment can be wrong, because in the meantime, the people standing for the victim or giving some, they may die within 5 years. So a justice delayed is justice not delivered. Okay. Anyway, that is a different point. So I'm saying that the need of the hour was to deliver something, a project fast. Deliver the project fast. I cannot wait for 1 year. Can you think of a 1 year project nowadays? Why can you not think of a so long term a project? Yeah, there are still projects which are running for 2 or 3 years. That is, there are different nature of projects, but I'm not discussing projects at this time. But generally speaking, why even a 1 year project is not, feasible nowadays? Can anybody tell me? Why we are looking for delivering in phases, like 1 month release cycle?
So projects are
why?
divided into modules, and we have to deliver projects are based on modules, and we have to submit modules, and therefore the team will require less time to deliver the project. Uh, Earlier
Yeah,
they use waterfall model, but now they use agile model. They implement agile model to deliver the project fast or
project
to
fast.
reduce the.
Yes. Why? My question was why. Yes, you are discussing the mechanism, how you deliver a project fast. You break it up in models, or it is called work breakdown structure. So the structure, if you can go to
Can
the,
I
yeah,
can I also add something? I
Yeah,
think what you're looking for, Mr. D, was the fact that since the development of any software or any program is to solve a problem, and companies, particularly, I think this is the trend, is that the shorter the duration of delivering that software or program, it is to solve a certain problem or to deliver a certain product because of demand. So tech companies wouldn't be willing to invest in a project that would take 1 year as compared to one that would take probably 1 month. I think it's a cost
exactly.
effective issue.
Very nicely said. Very nicely said. And I will also add to it, you're correct. You're very correct. But at the same time, I will also add to it that, say, 1 year, today's customers, you always think from the shoes of a customer, from the viewpoint of a customer. Today's customers are very, the taste will change every now and then very fast. Today, whatever the features are good, tomorrow it can be obsolete. Don't you think so? So therefore, you see earlier, one Nokia model, Nokia version, Nokia say version, after 1 year there will be another release. Say 320 Nokia version. Now 330 will come after 1 year. Can you think of this nowadays? So now Samsung is releasing every 3 months one new version of their product. Why? Because the features can go very old very soon. Features become old. So to cater to our customers' taste, whatever you say, or preferences, you cannot wait for some. You are developing a product with certain features, okay, and you have frozen the requirements at the very beginning. You have frozen the requirements at the very beginning, and that requirements are dragging for the last 1 year, and after 1 year you have delivered. But in the meantime, when you deliver the product to the market, the product is obsolete. Those features that you have delivered is no longer required. So you have lost the business value. The value of that product is gone, is down. So you have invested $1 million on this project, but what is the end result? Your product is no way used. So it is a failed project. But I am releasing a product of the highest business value. Say I am not releasing all the 50 features. I'm releasing only five very, very important features which are of immediate business value, immediate business value. So that IBV is very important to decide. Who is going to decide? The business owner is going to decide that my business has this five features top priority. So they must be delivered in this 1 month, this coming 1 month, or maybe sometimes they want for a 2 week release. I cannot use a traditional model like waterfall model to deliver a product like, because that will not never suit. They cannot cater to that. I can deliver it only with an agile model of project delivery. Okay. No questions, I believe. We can proceed because these are all very, very logical, and therefore they cater to the demand. So I will not go through too much of our discussion on this waterfall model. Only few things I will discuss on a waterfall model, which is like a water is falling down from the top to down. So that's why it is called a waterfall model. So there are various requirement phases, the development phases, and you come from exit gates. So there will be exit gates. This is exit gates. Exit 1, exit 2, exit 3, and onwards. So for each, there is an exit gate. That means in each exit gate, you are approving. There is an approval process. Gates. This is exit gates. Exit, sorry, 1. Hello? Hello? So we have an approval process for each of the exit gates. This is sort of a bureaucratic. I am lost. I do not know the spelling. Whatever it is a very bureaucratic process where you have to take approvals, and approvals can be various levels of approvals, and then you will only, so from coming from requirement to design, you have got to get through 5 approval stages. And again, similarly, this thing will happen from design to development. So you have to get approved. So many documentation has to be approved to various level of the business. And when you come to the deployment stage for a 1-year project, you have already lost 11 months. So you have to put that into on the 12th month, but on the 11th month, when you are in the deployment stage, you had a UAT. You know what is UAT? This is a SIT. This is a UT. Unit testing, development, there is a peer-to-peer unit testing. The development has done some development team based on the design, and therefore there will be a unit testing. So a testing between themselves to understand that everything is working. They will put it to the SIT, system integration testing. The testing team will be testing with entire requirement matrix. Okay. So SIT. When it comes to UAT, UAT is what? Anyone?
I'm guessing it's got to do. I think it's user acceptance. I forgot the T what it stands for.
Exactly. User acceptance. So from a customer's point of view, who is the user? The customer is the user. So who is doing all these things? Vendor is doing all these things. The customer pitches in. So customer requirement, the business requirement was frozen. Business requirement was frozen on the first month of a 1-year project. Okay. And there was no customer involvement. So on the 11th month, again the customer appeared in the scene. What they do? They will test a user acceptance testing. So there will be a pre-production server. So the development has been deployed into the pre-production server, which is similar to the production server. So it will be simulated. A production server will be simulated, and the users will be now testing your product on a pre-production server. Now what happens is this can go badly wrong. You thought you have delivered a fantastic product, but they view it from their business point of view because they are the users. Now they find it grossly wrong, badly wrong. There are lots of issues. They do not agree. They will not accept.
Mr. Devashish, I think one of our students, he asked like wisdom. He asked that.
Hello.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. So,
Yeah.
guys, please, I can hear you very properly, but wisdom has some issues that he cannot hear you very properly. So,
Oh, okay. Yeah, I apprehended because my network is today. I can also see. So, wisdom, you are still not being able to hear me?
I can hear you clearly. I don't know about others. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think it is him. We can hear you clearly, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Debashib, I can hear you clearly. I don't have any reason. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I can also hear you.
Okay. Because I have my router just sitting beside me. So because I always have a doubt. I always have a doubt that I'm not audible, or my screen is not visible, or whatever is displayed on these things. Something, because the video is on. So you are seeing me. I cannot see myself. So maybe there is a lot of pressure on the network. I don't know. So if the network is not that good, so I may you if I can go and
Your,
make my
your
video
your
off.
network is good. Your network is good. I can hear you. I can hear
Okay,
you.
okay,
Your network
okay,
is good.
okay.
At least for now.
And
Yeah.
you can see my serious face.
Yeah, I can see your handsome
Yes,
face.
very good. So on the 11th month, I'm building up a story. It will be easier for you to understand. So on the 11th month, the customer said, no, 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 I am not very happy with your product, the product that you have delivered or developed, because it is grossly mistaken what we required on the first month. You might have misinterpreted that, or whatever it might be, but we are not happy. So what happens? Did you have a provision of going back? See, everything was coming top to down, top to down, top to down. So what went wrong? On the 11th month, when you found that there is something which has to be redeveloped, you have to go from the design point of view. You have to rectify the requirement. Requirement is frozen. You cannot do anything with the requirement. You have to start from this point. Now you have to scale up the ladder, go back and redesign, redevelop, retest, and redeploy. And there will be a UAT, re-UAT, re-SIT, re-UT. So can you complete the project in 1 month? Because your project duration is 12 months. So what went wrong? My one question, what went wrong? Which which had miserably, which was not accounted, and therefore it is now costing the project. It is almost on the verge of failure, because I within 1 month, I it's a Herculean task to go back to do the redesign, redevelopment, retesting. So what went wrong? In one liner, you have failed. The system has failed late. Don't you think? You have failed late. If you have failed earlier at this stage or at this stage, you could have made amends. Don't you think? So the problem was of failing late. So the solution was to fail. The solution was to fail. What was the solution for this? But the model does not support that. So what was the solution to be? To fail what? Early. You should fail in the beginning, not in the end. That is the solution of the problem. Majority, almost 70% of waterfall model project failed. In IBM, almost, this is the IBM statistics, 70% of IBM projects failed, which followed the waterfall model, because they were heavily dependent on the project managers, on the project manager. And project manager has a lot of ego. Project manager thought they know everything. Project managers thought they can micromanage. And project managers did not know they are hated by the team. because nobody likes to be micromanaged. There was no freedom. This was the guy, and I am the guy. I was the project manager. I always found that I am at the I'm the main culprit behind the failure of a project because I thought I know everything. No, I do not know anything because I think that whatever I was doing from the day one, that is documenting everything, planning, scheduling, budgeting, and everything. These are very good tasks. That is the most important part of any project. Correctly doing things, managing the project. But in doing so, I am so engrossed with my sort of knowledge and sort of credentials that I overlook little aspects, very simple aspects. So many things I overlook. I go by the books, and I being so much become a maniac. Okay, and I will micromanage, and therefore I am the sole person who is responsible for this debacle. Okay, and also the system did not allow me to fail early. I cannot blame the project manager 100%. I will blame it on what waterfall model, because it did not have any provision to go back. Each stage should have a fallback mechanism, but it only had the forward movement, not the backward movement. Anyway, so any questions coming up? Now, so came the agile model. I will not do many things. I will talk not much on this, but at least I will say that there is the priority requesting. That means out of the 50, I'm now working with the business owner. Who is the business owner? The business owner is the guy from the customer. And this business owner is involved with my agile team. Small agile teams are small teams of between 7 to 9. They say ideally a team should not exceed 9 members. A small team is a efficient team. That is the principle. That is the philosophy of agile. Okay, but these 7 to 9 guys are the experts. Okay, they are functional experts. They are the experts in their own domain. So if there is one testing guy, that testing guy is a champion. If there is two developers, these two developers, one is a Java developer and one is a Python developer, but they are the champions. Okay, I had one what operations guy, OPS guy. That means some network administrator, network admin, or you know who are they? Or a Unix admin. Unix means Linux admin. Okay, so one expert operations guy. So how many? 1, 3, 4. Then I will have one designer or architect. Enough. But that architect is a fantastic architect. Okay. So I already have 5 guys, champion guys. Then there will be one guy who is an expert in release management. And of course, I will have 2 guys from DevOps. They are very important guys. Like we are very important guys in any project, in agile project. And agile is equivalent to saying DevOps. It is like a hen and an egg. you do not know which came first. Whether it was DevOps, because of DevOps, Agile came into picture, or was it Agile with which came the DevOps? You cannot, there is a debate. Okay? So it will have a shorter life cycle. And the day one, when the design starts, the coding starts, the testing starts. Nobody is waiting for the other to deliver. So there is no exit gate. There is no exit gate. And most importantly, there is no project manager. There is no project manager. There is no documentation. Why to have a huge amount of documentation when your project is failing? Isn't it? What is the use of having so much of documentation when your project is not successful? So, minimum of documentation, maximum of output. No project manager means the total team is the owner of the project. Team is the owner of the project. Are you getting me? What is the advantage? Everyone, a tester can also say, I am the boss. The developers say, I am the boss. I am not the boss in the true sense of the term, but I am the owner. And unless and until you own something, you will not deliver the best product. Do you agree? Everyone is an owner. There is, yes, one Scrum Master. If it's a Agile Scrum project, Scrum Master. Scrum Master is also called a servant leader. Why servant? He is not a project manager. He is a servant. Servant means not in the true sense of the term, but he is known to be a facilitator. He is not a dictator. Unlike the project manager, facilitator. That means he will mostly contact the business owner to arrange the resources. So basically, he will carry the water in the ground. Okay, so basically a coordinator, a helper. So no project manager, a servant leader. No documentation, minimum of documentation. So you are saving a lot of time unnecessary. So that means you are now to the project, and there is a 15 minutes stand-up call every day morning. 15 minutes stand-up call between the between the business owner from the customer side and all the 7 to 9 team, DevOps team. Oh, sorry, the Agile team. So they will discuss what happened yesterday, were there any issues, how the issues were addressed, and whether they were addressed correctly. Is there any issue pending? What is the work that we are going to do today? These are the things that is discussed. Nothing else, nothing less, nothing more.
Mr. Devashish, I think
Yeah,
Ernest has some question.
yeah,
What
yeah.
is the difference between tech lead and scrum master?
The tech lead, it depends on the composition entirely on the agile team, whether the agile team. So I can have one of the out of the two developers, I can have one tech lead, but it is not a scrum master. Scrum master is a different role. It is a servant leader. This is a technical guy. The tech lead will be from the development, or maybe if I think I can assign the designer or the architect as my tech lead. The roles are a bit different. So Basically, the take lead or the team lead, these are the things coming from the waterfall model of of the team composition. Okay, but it is not necessary that you have to have a take lead. You have to have a team lead. Everyone is a leader. Everyone is a leader in this group, in this agile team. There is no particular project manager. There is no servant leader is also not a team leader. Scrum master. Scrum master is having a different function. That is an agile topic. There are almost 16 principles, agile principles, and so Scrum master has to ensure that we are not deviating or we are not violating any principle of agile. That is the only function. And maybe he's taking a team lead role while in the discussion of the stand-up call. Maybe. So did I answer your question? It depends on
Yeah,
how you
yes, you've
organize your
answered.
team.
Yeah,
Hello?
you've answered it. You've answered it, sir. Thank you.
Yes. It is not any hard and fast truth. So agile is the only objective is to deliver a product of business value within the release time. There will be a backlog bucket or a bucket, a feature bucket, you can say. And in that feature bucket, the feature bucket is also prioritized. But who will prioritize it? That this is the first feature, second feature, third feature, fourth feature, fifth feature. That will be prioritized by the business owner. So you see, your project, the agile project for a month, 1 month project will be for every day, every working day, the business owner is with you. So a customer is now automatically involved into your project. So you are almost guaranteeing 100% success of that project. So still we have not arrived at why we are going for. So the advantage of this is customer satisfaction, less planning required because there is no project manager. Requirements can be dynamic and not frozen. So another big advantage is my requirements are not frozen. As and when, depending on the market, I can customize my requirements a bit here and there. There is always a room for that. Why DevOps? What is DevOps? We are coming. So we have already discussed this topic, that there is a firefighting between the developers and the operations for the natural reason of the resistance of the operations team to take in something from the development team, and the development team will always push in something. Okay. So what is the solution then? The developer used to run the code on his system and then forward it to the operations team. The operations team, when tried to run the code on the system, it did not run. Because why? Their environment is quite different from what the developers have tweaked. The developers have tweaked and tuned. They are experts, tuned their environment. So their code can run. The code runs. And they will give some manifest file. What is a manifest file? Anybody, any idea? A document, instruction manual. Instruction manual. Instruction manual given to whom? Given from development team to the operations team, because operations are the owner of testing server, test server, pre-production server, and finally production server. They are the owners. So the development team cannot put in something of their own will. So it has to go to the operations team will do the installation, will do the deployment. So there will be an instruction manual, but most of the instruction manual the developers will write in their own style, which the operations guys, these are poor guys. You have to understand, developers, you are not good. You are having a lot of ego, and you always think that I will try to give some hard time to the operations team. They always keep on playing these games. This is not good. Okay. They will write the instruction manual in such a manner. I have a lot of experience with that. As a project manager, I don't want all this mischief being done between the development team and the operations team naturally, because my objective is to deliver a best product within the time, within the budget, within the schedule. So they will write the instruction manual in such a way that these guys will have to again and again go back to them, and they like it. No, this is not right, because the instruction manual say how you will install the product, how do you tweak the environment, how do you set up the environment, all those things, and they will never do it. They will never be able to do it. So there is a clash. Okay. See, it has coming back. It has come back because they are not being able to do it correctly. Now, so this led to a lot of back and forth between the developer and operations team, hence impacted efficiency. Okay. This is the time when there was a crisis. Then you have pitched in. Who are you? You are these fantastic guys called DevOps guys. You are, sorry, this is not good. You are DevOps guy. What did you do? You have brought in a set of tools, 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 tools. Okay? You have put in all the tools in various phases, and you are experts on those tools. Those are the tools that you are going to learn in DevOps. Okay? What you did is, if the developers were creating a lot of problems, there is a lot of problem in my pen today. I don't know why. So the developers were putting a lot of hurdle for the testing team. Now the testing team has come up with a tool called Selenium. The result coming out of the Selenium cannot be denied by the developers. They can fight with the testers, human fight, but they cannot fight the tool because they are tested and tried, accepted by the industry. Now you have given an instruction manual for the deployment to this poor guys, operations guys. They cannot follow it. But now you have Docker DevOps tool, and you cannot send in a wrong instruction to the Docker, because that will not work. So if you have to deploy, you must give the Docker commands, and that the operations team can easily do and build an image of the application. This is called containerized image that we are going to learn by the help of Docker. This is a DevOps tool. So my deployment is correct. I did not take any time. Earlier days, when the tools were not there, it was a hard time. It was a hard time. Anyway, my pen is really bad today. The ink is overflowing. So a tool will not say wrong thing, and the result of the tool will now have to be accepted. Therefore, there is no fight. The problem was solved using DevOps. Now there should be a big hand for your team. The DevOps have pitched in and solved a big problem, big headache for the project. Do you agree? So, developers plus tester plus IT operations is the DevOps. It is not a tool. DevOps itself is not a tool. It is a software development methodology, or you can say it's a philosophy. It's a concept. Like you have heard the concept called OOPS. What is OOPS? OOPS is not a programming language. It's a concept. It's a sort of methodology. What is OOPS? Object oriented programming. So that object oriented programming has changed it has revolutionized the entire development world, isn't it? So similarly, DevOps have revolutionized how you deliver and deploy a product. So DevOps from the Amazon is defining DevOps is a combination of cultural philosophy. See where they have taken this term DevOps. DevOps. Many people have a concept that DevOps is a tool. No, there is no such tool called DevOps. It is a philosophy, practice, tools that increase an organization's ability to deliver applications and services at high velocity. So basically automation, you automate, continuously deliver, continuously feedback, monitor, operate. All these things are done continuously in a pipeline, CI/CD pipeline. There are 6 principles which are essential when adopting DevOps. So most of the companies are adopting DevOps. Why? Because DevOps makes the 6 principles the highest value. That means your product should be customer centric, should deal with the customer centric actions, end to end responsibility. So every team member is the owner. It will deal with continuous improvement, automate everything if possible. You cannot automate everything. It is not physically possible to, otherwise there will be no job for human being. It is accepted that there will be few manual activities, but if you can do out of 10 things, if you can automate 7 things, you have done automation. Work as one team. So there is no development, there is no testing, there is no operations. All are one team. Monitor and test everything. You cannot leave even the smallest aspect of the SDLC not to be monitored or not to be tested. So the traditional IT versus DevOps, you have a lot of improvement with DevOps. Traditional IT was less productive. It is more productive. It is skill centric team. Skill centric. So there will be a top boss who knows everything, and the rest of the team does not know anything. Whereas here, team is divided into specialized silos. So I will not have one particular person knowing everything. I will have several persons knowing specific things, specialized in specific things. That is much more, that will pay much more dividend. More time invested in planning. Here is unnecessary. The project management gives a lot of time, 70% of time in planning. Whereas in DevOps, you bring it down. Smaller and frequent release lead to easy scheduling and less time in planning, because you are now making short bursts. It is like a rugby. You have a scrum in the center of the field. You have a scrum, and the only target is that rugby ball. Okay, so unnecessary things you just make it lean. There is a lean method. Okay, you scrap it out. You make it only the meaningful delivery of smaller and frequent release. That is more meaningful than waiting for doing it for 12 months and on the 11th month you fail. Difficult to achieve or target, difficult to achieve the target or goal. But your frequent releases with continuous feedback makes achieving targets easy. Okay. Now, who is a DevOps expert? A DevOps expert is a guy, traditionally it is a myth. It is a myth, MYTH, that if a person, it was an earlier myth, that if a person knows at least 20 DevOps tools, then that person is, all the companies will go after that guy. But that myth is broken. We need to understand, we need to learn those tools which are most important for us. And our company, or we have done a lot of research in the market. We have a lot of marketing team, and they have found out that if you can do certain tools, learn certain tools, sorry, if you can learn certain tools nicely, like Terraform. This is Terraform. We are going to learn Terraform. Then there is build tool, Maven. Then there is version control tool called Git. Then there is a container management tool called Docker. Okay. Then there is a container orchestration tool called Kubernetes. Performance monitoring, there is Nagios. There is Splunk. Okay. But it is not necessary, because these tools are mostly for the operations guys. Deployment and server monitoring. So, sorry, this is the Nagios. So it is also monitoring. Okay, application performance monitoring. This is a configuration management tool that you need to know, Ansible. This is Chef, but we do not need to learn Chef. Ansible is much more popular than Chef. And in the deployment management automation, you can learn Jenkins, or you can learn GitLab. In our course, we deliver on GitLab, because GitLab is far more versatile than Jenkins. Earlier, Jenkins was very popular, but nowadays GitLab. So Selenium, this is Selenium. This is entirely for the testing team. Then there is a continuous monitoring. So there you will have Splunk. So how many tools did we learn? We learned Terraform 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's all. More than enough. It is more than enough. You do not need, this is a myth. Nobody can learn 20 tools in DevOps, but if you learn at least these tools, and of course, you have to learn the cloud very nicely. We deliver AWS, the most popular cloud platform. And of course, you have to learn Linux. So how many things that you are learning? Almost 7 DevOps tools plus AWS plus Linux. Without Linux, you cannot survive in this IT industry. You have to know Linux. And take it from us. We very nicely teach you Linux. Yeah, Tirth, any question?
Yes, I am audible.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, sir. Actually, I just want to know that how much means how many tools are required to get at least an internship. I am currently a third year student right now.
Sorry, can you repeat your question, please?
Yes, actually, I am currently in my third year, and
Okay.
which other tools are required to get just an internship?
That is what I was discussing. That you see, these are the tools, very, very important tools that we give a lot of importance to, and we teach our students these particular tools. Starting with cloud, AWS, Linux, then you have the Git version control system, and then your Terraform, Ansible, Docker, Kubernetes, okay, GitLab. These are the tools minimum because this is the CI/CD tool, and there is another one called SonarQube. SonarQube for the code. This is called a code checker. So how the developers have written the code, whether it is following any standard guidelines or it has just arbitrarily written a code. Because if a code of a developer is not validated correctly, then it may in future get failed in the production. The performance may not be good, or it can be vulnerable to virus or security attack. It can be vulnerable. So that is what you learn in DevSecOps. How you use SonarQube to secure your code. So did I answer your question? That means you need to learn at least these minimum tools to be at least getting a job, a good job in DevOps. And also, if you think that okay, I will give it a pause. I will not immediately look for a DevOps job, but I will go to learn DevSecOps, the cyber security, because DevOps plus cyber security is a deadly combination. Deadly combination. You are 100% guaranteed of a job. If think that there is a too much of competition with DevOps, you may not end up with a good job in DevOps. You of course will. If you are good in all these things, you are definitely going to get. But you can ensure that with DevOps, the background as DevOps, I learned cybersecurity as well. Then you are a deadly combination. You are sought after in the market. Any other question?
No, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tirth. Did I pronounce it correctly?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So we will. I have got a less because of Mr. Menon. I got 30 minutes less. Okay, but still somehow I have come to this within my time, and within 15 minutes I'm going to end my discussion on DevOps. This is one of the introduction session. So next weekend we are going to start with AWS. Please do not miss out on the next weekend. We will have a nice discussion on the cloud. So anyway, you see, these are the various phases. Just now we have discussed the planning, coding, building, testing, deploy, operate, monitor. the inverse 8, the lateral 8, the sleeping 8, the lying 8, all these phases. And each phase will have certain tools, DevOps tools. Like you have in the planning and coding, you have the Git and the Jira. But Jira, we are not going to learn Jira, but we are learning GitLab, which has all the elements of Jira. So in this, we are going to learn Git, the version control tool. In the build, we are going to learn Maven, which will help you to build the package. See, what are you doing? Here, the developers are delivering the code. Where? On the version control tool. Now you get that code. Say there are hundreds of Java files. You have to compile them into one single jar file, isn't it? One executable file, you can say. If you are not having a development background, you understand that there is one single executable file which can be executed, so an application can be run. So you say that you are running a web application which is running on Java. That is, either you are having a WAR file or a simple Java application archive file, which is a jar file. But who is doing that? So Maven will help you to compile all the code into one package called jar. If it is Java. So how to use that tool to build your code? Because finally, what is your objective? Can anybody tell me? Why you are doing all these things? What is the big deal? Why you are learning all these tools? Yeah, why you are learning the tool? Because there was to bridge the gap between the development and the operations. You have come up with a suite of tools to help both these domains. Now, you tell me by this picture, do you have a feeling of what are these? Coming from here, so it is going down here, from here to here, going from here to here, going down here to here, again coming from here to here, and again starting. So it is like continuous iteration. Can you tell me what are these? Any idea? These are automation pipelines. The pipeline which will take your job from here to here to here, and if needed, again back to here and here and there. So it's an automation pipeline on which you deploy your tools and the jobs and your product, which is so you have started to write the code. You have built the code into the jar file or war file. You have tested it. You put that into deploy. You deployed it through what? How will you make that jar file convert to an image? You will use Docker. You will either use Docker or you will use Kubernetes. That's why you see Docker over here. So you have built an image. You will have to build an image out of the Java file, jar file, and that you will do with because you have simply to containerize it. You will put that into a container, and the container will run like the pods, small pods, microservices running over over a cluster. You are basically automating the entire process of software delivery. Software build, software code, build, test, deploy, operate, and monitor. So this operate and monitor is a part of the operations team. They will also use tool like the Terraform, Ansible, but everywhere you are omnipresent. You know, omnipresent? God is omnipresent. So are you God? Maybe. So you are a God in a software development lifecycle. in a team, agile team, because you start your work from here. You are also here, you are also here, you are also here, you are also here, here, everywhere. Because you know the tools. Nobody else in your organization knows about these tools. The developers know Java. You do not know Java. You do not know Python. You do not need to know. You do not know JavaScript. You do not know HTML. If you know, it's very good. It's a deadly combination. You know development as well as you know DevOps. So nobody can stop you. But even if you don't know development, doesn't matter. So you have Docker, and this operate, you have the Terraform, Ansible, and here in the monitor you have the ELK stack, the Splunk, the Nagios. So you can see there is a continuous integration between the various phases: continuous development, continuous testing, continuous deployment, and continuous monitoring. Fantastic. Everything continuous. So there is this automation pipeline will help you to do the CI/CD. It will help you to do the CI. What is that? Continuous integration. You do the continuous integration. And what is CD? Continuous deployment and continuous delivery. You deploy and then deliver. So CI/CD, these are called CI/CD automation pipelines. So in one statement, you say that you are an automation expert. You are an automation expert. Not only a DevOps guy, you are an automation expert. So this is how the DevOps works. The developer will put the code on the version control. Through the pipeline, CI/CD pipeline, the code will come to for the building through the Docker, and deployment through the, using the Docker, the Kubernetes, whatever it is. It will go to the testing server for the testing. The testing will they will use the Selenium or the JUnit, and there will be a continuous testing and the feedback. It will again go to the developer, because if there is any defect, it will again come back to the developer. Developer will work on it, have to rectify those errors, and then it will again go to the version control. From the version control, it will again come to the Docker and the Kubernetes, and then it will be deployed and all the stuff. So everything goes fine. It will be deployed to pre-production. So in the pre-production, the UAT will happen. And if the UAT passed, then where will it go? It will be now deployed after lots of approval process. It will now be deployed into production. So did you complete the entire SDLC with your tools, with your presence? I will end my discussion. It is right 10:30 India time. So I have my project is successful. I have started with one point and ended with another. Within the schedule. So thank you, gentlemen and the ladies. We will end the discussion over here. So next weekend we are going to start with cloud. But tell me, did you have some idea of why we are learning DevOps? I can go on and on. There are so many other slides. There are slides. But we have covered the most important ones. So
So next week, sorry, Mr. Devashish, I just
yeah.
for interrupt. Next
No, no.
week, guys, today's is this session is mostly theoretical, but next week we will have idea that we are going to showcase mostly AWS portal. So you should have a more clarity about hands-on. Our internship program, you will not have a, separate lab which you have for compared to our main training, job ready training. But for this internship, only because the time and the so days are very short and we need to cover lots of tools. So most of the scenario, except the day one, our trainer Mr. Devashish, he will share his screen with all of the tools with their commands and their interface. I think
But
I have
Mr.
one.
Menon, you are putting a lot of pressure on me. You are expecting that in within 2 hours,
True. I just want to straight the make the
yeah,
things
you
straight
will get
about.
a flavor. Yes. I
Yes,
will
yes,
definitely try to deliver a flavor of what is in store for us in future
yes.
if
Because
we
I
are
have
going
also
to.
got a message that how can I have the hands-on on the internship? No, you cannot have, because the time and the duration is very less. It is only 8 weekend every Saturday for next 8 weeks and for 2 hours. Whereas compared to our main course is like a 6 to 7 weeks every day 2.5 hours Monday to Friday. So you can understand we have very huge
And
time. And
generally it is not 6 weeks. I generally end up with 8 weeks.
yes, so
So this is the privilege that I have been given by Mr. Menon.
yeah,
So
so
I ensure that not a single student of mine will leave the course without understanding or without the complete understanding. I will ensure it.
because we
How much is
have a
the cost?
it is $550.
Do you need to attend all the weekend internship programs in the next 6 weeks before you join the actual hands-on practice in the weekday?
No, not at all, because you can understand as the class goes for 8 weeks, we can have only 6 batches in a year, and we can have a 6 evening batch in a year, and 4 morning batches in a year. So total in combination we can have 8 to 10 batches, including morning and evening for our job ready training. So yeah, internship is different thing, main course is different thing. Internship will give you a flavor, it will give you it will clarify that yes, this is the right course you want to choose, right? Now
Yeah,
whenever
exactly.
the course now right now our evening batch started like 1 month before, and the next batch is going to start after 1 month. But our morning batch is going to start, though it is not yet, the link is not live, because if you go it will show that the old batches date and timeline, so you cannot register right now. But
To
eventually,
clarify, morning batch is morning US time.
yes, that is Indian evening time. Now you can, the price may be change, maybe little bit reduce based on your availability. So just check on your from your end in our website. Now the good part is morning batch, though the link is not live for registration, but it is, I think we are going to start our morning batch from the next Friday. Okay, so because morning normally we have we have 4 batches in a year. The reason most of the people based in US, they have a office time, right? So that's the reason we don't want to
Exactly.
push.
Exactly.
Yes,
Exactly. So for me, I think the evening works perfect in the US time. It's the 7 p.m.
yes.
Is
Yes. Most of the people will find evening batch more convenient.
And
absolutely.
one more thing I would like to add. All of our batches, like a paid training, it is not like this one. It has its own threshold limit, as I mentioned earlier, those trainings are hands-on. So we cannot have like a n number of student in a single batch. We have like a 7 new student, 3 refresher, or those students are doing the refreshing course. So whole 10 number of student we can accommodate in one batch. So once the link is live, I will send the notification in our all of our WhatsApp channel. If you are have a plan to join our training, don't wait. Try to do the registration, because last batch this thing happened with us. After registration completion, once that we got the 10 number of student, like 6 new for the student who have done the training previous, and do the refresher course again.
Yeah, yeah.
So then we got another 12, 13 students want to enroll, but we had to, no way, because you need to understand, as it is a hands-on training, we need to, and you have your own lab. After a couple of days, you will have lots and lots of issues, and our trainer needs to attend all of those issues. So if his service batch is 20s, I don't think either we need to reduce our quality, or we need to overlook all of those questions, which we don't want, right? So that's the reason we also have a threshold limit.
So the next intake is
No,
next week.
see, sorry, we can take 20 students, but then those 20 students have to be very, I mean, they are from the IT background. They can
Yes.
pick up the things very fast. But generally, we do not, we get a lot of students from the different, I mean, different domain. They do not have much of an IT experience. No, not even very minimal IT experience. So it will be very unjust for them if I hurry up. I mean, I do not care whether they understand the whole thing or not. That should not be the, we do not go by that approach. We will bring up them to the same level as the best student of the batch. So we will take our own time.
And we are fortunate enough that we had some good students. They are not at all from IT background. They are from accounting,
Exactly, exactly.
healthcare, teaching, and they got successfully landed a product-based company like Microsoft, Amazon as a senior DevOps engineer, mid-senior, or lead position,
See, you
because
have
they,
to have only a logical bent of mind. Just that is the minimum requirement. Nothing else. You do not need to know anything else. So with that fundamentals, so some people, we were amazed with a few of the people who didn't have any background in IT. They are doing they're doing fantastic. They have got a good job. They have got good jobs. We had been training for the last almost 3 years now. Almost 1,500 students we had, out of which almost like Mr. Menon, you will be more have a detailed idea of the data.
yes. So now out of this 1500, I'm giving a rough estimation. 60% students they joined, they did not had any idea about IT. They're not at all from IT background.
Yeah.
30% they want to switch their career, and 10% they done that training from somewhere else, or they have the idea but they are want to join with us because they are not satisfied. Now you can understand the US market, it was down, job market, especially IT job market, is down for last 2.5 years. But still, in this tough time, students from our from Kalki, they are getting their job. Not only single, they are having a multiple offer. But only thing, it is not like if you join and you'll get the job. Not like that. I am telling you, the everyday classes is 2.5 hours. You need to put aside another 2.5 hours to practice on the lab. We are going to, I'm giving a scenario. Suppose on a day we are going to teach you A, B, C, D. In that lab, we are going to ask you to write some words. Next day, we are going to, find out about your progress, and we're going to teach some professional words. And the next day and weekend, we are going to ask you to write some sentence. So our labs is designed in such a way that you are going to complete at least 90%, but 10% you will stuck. Once you stuck, you will use your imaginations and your creative minds. You will come up with some fantastic answers, because it is not at all that 2 plus 2 is 4. You can come up with n number of probabilities and possibilities. And we are lucky enough, again, we have that experienced trainer like Mr. Devashish, who have an enormous amount of patience to resolve all of those issues.
Okay, last one, and then I'll be probably dropping. So, if I decide to move on with this, the best time to join is this week or next week. Like, what is the deadline to get into it for the next cohort of students?
So, Stephen, are you talking about morning batch or evening batch?
Evening batch.
Evening batch with the evening US batch starting date, we are not yet finalized, because one evening batch is going on right now. Until unless it is going to finish, then only we can understand. Now you can you may think that why the finish line is not yet confirmed, because we are not like other training institute that they have a strict starting point and strict end point. No, because you need to understand, what we feel, we have 10 students in a batch. All of their students have a different capacity and they have a different background. So to reach and make them ready for the job, sometime we need 6 weeks, sometimes 7 weeks.